Hello there everybody, what is going on? My name is Callum or Rubix, and today I have a gameplay on Interchange, I think it is, yeah. And I'm using the Bat 50 Cal. My perks I believe are Sleight of Hand Pro, Quick Draw Pro and Dead Silence Pro. My specialist perks are Extreme Conditioning, Scavenger and Stalker. I'm using the Throwing Knife and Stuns. But today I won't be talking about the gameplay. I'll be talking about a subject that pretty much everybody knows about by now, and that is KONY 2012. And it's quite an interesting subject. There's a lot of controversy about it, and I think most people will have seen the KONY 2012 video by Invisible Children Incorporated. I think it has 80 million views in 10 days. At the time of recording this, the 15th, I have, oh yeah, I just saw that it has 78 million views, which is crazy for 10 days. And there's been a lot of controversy going on about it. If you don't know what it's about, which is highly unlikely, but it's about a man in Uganda called Joseph KONY, and he is the leader of the LRA, and I can't remember what LRA stands for. Lord's Resistance Army. And basically the main thing he does is he turns children, he gets children off the streets, he drugs them up and turns them into his army, basically. Not like a little street army, like a proper army, thousands of children. And he drugs them up so much, and then he just takes the drugs away from them, and they'll do whatever he wants for them to get their drugs back, because they're just so addicted to it that they just want anything to go back to their drugs because of excessive withdrawal symptoms. And he'll make them do things like kill their parents just because he can, and he is a vile person. Another thing he does, he exploits women, he rapes them, he does things that are bad for my little mouth to say, and he is a generally horrible person. And there is a lot of controversy going about it. I believe only 30% of the money gained from by the charity goes towards the actual finding and locating of Joseph KONY and bringing him to justice. And I know that seems like a really small amount, but it is still quite a lot of money, considering they'll be getting so much money from the packs they're selling, the posters and t-shirts, and the money they'll get from the partnership and YouTube. And it's still a very considerable amount of money. And they said in an interview, I'll link the interview in the description, that they're not one of these normal charities that you'd see that like 100% of their money go towards all the cause, I guess, like the RSPCA, or I think 100% of their money raised goes towards protecting animals, and the RSPCA alike, many charities do that. But they're not one of those conventional charities, because they're not like set up for the sole purpose of doing their cause. The Invisible Children Inc. is a job, basically, to the two people, I think it's two people, that set it up. And you wouldn't think that they would give 100% of the money to the charity, because I certainly wouldn't if I had the chance, because it's a job to them. If they don't have that, they have nothing, basically. And I think pretty much 90%, 99% of people that watch this would agree that they wouldn't let all that money go by and just give it all to the cause, because there's still a lot of money that's going towards the cause. And the US military was sent into Uganda last year, so it won't just be Invisible Children Incorporated that actually work on this project. It'll also be it is also the US military. I think 100 special troops were sent in last year in November or something, and it doesn't seem like much, but they are special forces troops, and it has the actual money going towards the charity. It has caused quite a lot of controversy, but people understand. Well, some people understand that it is a job to them, but it's there has been a lot of hate towards Jason Russell and the other people, and he has a family to feed. He doesn't just want to let them starve, so he does have to take the money, but that's understandable for most people. And I'm running out of things to say now. Hang on. Okay, I'm back, and I have some stuff to talk about now. And Foreign Affairs magazine published an article that stated that several organisations had manipulated facts for strategic purposes, exaggerating the scale of LRA abductions and murders, and was portraying KONY, a brutal man to be sure, as uniquely awful, a Kurtz-like embodiment of evil. Resolve, one of Invisible Children's partner organisations, responded that the accusations were a serious charge, published with no accompanying substantiation. And I just read that off Wikipedia, but I do think that some of the stats they said and some of the facts they said were a bit exaggerated, because no man himself could organise all that crime and punishment, I guess, because it is an overwhelming thing, and number of things that he's done, and I find it really hard to believe that all the stuff that he's done is true. Well, all the stuff that it says on the video is true, and it is quite hard to believe. And I know that he is a horrible man, but you just got to think how easy it is to manipulate people's thoughts through the use of saying, oh look, this is a fact. And it is quite disturbing, really, how you see something on the internet or on YouTube or something, and you automatically think, oh, that seems true enough, it's got to be true. And it is quite scary. Anyway, going back to the subject of KONY, I was right earlier when I said that in October 2011, US President Barack Obama announced he would send 100 American military advisors to Uganda to help the regional forces remove Joseph Kony from the battlefield. However, they were not authorized to fight unless verified upon. So they were sent there to help, but it's still not as much help as could be done to, I guess, help bring him down. As they've sent 100 military advisors, which isn't that much when you consider how many people are in the US and British Army and all that, which is millions, I'm guessing. I don't know the actual stats, but it must be in the millions, because it is quite a big cause, I guess you could say. And it is, they could have made a much bigger effort to help out the cause, because even if some of the facts about KONY in that video were over exaggerated, it's still quite disturbing. Some of the things he has done and have been proved and are completely true that he has done, and it's just disturbing. And I think that the US government really needs to open their eyes and see that, well, not just the US government, all the governments, British, US, German, French, Swedish, all that, yeah, they need to see how much wrong KONY has done, and that he is a horrible man. And they need, and the US government needs to realise that they can put a lot more effort in, because I know that, like most governments are only interested in solving causes that have direct financial or social benefits for them, but sometimes you have to balance out what you need with what other people need, and I find it hard to believe that US government are just sitting there not bothering to think about the consequences of what is happening in Uganda. And if they are just sitting there thinking, oh, it's not that big a deal, stuff like this happens all the time, and while it does, it's still disturbing to see how they could help so much but just haven't at the moment. And this commentary is starting to run a bit dry. So I am struggling to think of things to talk about for a 12-minute commentary. So I'm just going to talk about Invisible Children's response to criticisms and things like that. And he said, and Jedediah Jenkins, the director of idea development for Invisible Children, responded to the new criticisms by saying that they were myopic, and the video itself was a tipping point that got young people to care about an issue on the other side of the planet that doesn't affect them. In response to concerns about working with the Ugandan government, Invisible Children explained they do not defend any of the human rights abuses perpetrated by the Ugandan government or the Ugandan army. And I guess that's the end of this game. And I'm sorry if this commentary has been a bit boring at some points. I was finding it a bit hard to talk at some points, but I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary. This has been Rubix. Goodbye.